lost.
PSG gets a pretty good start. Into PSG leading this one in the moment. Uja might just have a ball, and he knows. This is Uja who comes in to take this one.
Uja's going to be close on the line, and Uja's going to get it. 9.99.
Camera focuses on CJ Uja. He does take it. 9.99.
Clocking up one of the best wins of his career as a senior athlete. Gets into that wonderful strike as he looks really beautiful. Moves across the ground so well.
Confidence-boosting run there from the young Briton. He's the youngest Briton to have ever gone under 10 seconds.
Hey people, and welcome to another episode. This is episode 2. We are going to talk about football. Let's talk about it. Arsenal versus PSG. Now, for some of these players, it is the most important game that they've ever been in. The most important game. PSG looked like they were the home team. Arsenal looked like they were playing away and they couldn't handle PSG for the first 20 minutes. Now, you know this is the biggest game of some of these players' careers, if not the biggest game. The manager's biggest game. 2 games away from a final, 3 games from doing something Arsenal's never done. And you've got some of these players. Declan Rice said something important at the start. We die for every ball. Those Arsenal players in the first moment didn't know whether they would come in or go in. And we're really going to get into it because everyone wants to talk about the crowd and say the crowd went up for it, the atmosphere was flat. Well, the first 3 minutes, Arsenal conceded. The stadium's going to be shell-shocked. Any stadium, you concede in 3 minutes, shell-shocked. Tonight, I watched Barcelona play Inter Milan. They were 2-0 down in 20 minutes. The stadium was quiet. That's standard. You don't expect to be at home and expect your team to concede in the first 5 minutes. That's just the rule. In actual fact, you're told as an away team, if you can keep the home team at bay for the first 20 minutes, that's fine, because then after that, the crowd will go quiet. It was the other way around. Arsenal grew into the game, and some of the performances, I don't really like calling out individuals because I'm a huge Arsenal fan, and I respect what this team has done for the last 3 years. But some of these performances, I mean, I read a tweet and it said it seemed like only Miles Lewis-Skelly knew that he was playing in the semi-final. Okay. Just to be, for some of the examples I've got down here, this team needs Partey. Partey needs to play and Declan Rice needs to play further forward. We saw Declan Rice in a holding position that he hasn't done in a while, and the last time he actually did play was for England. Okay, he played that role during the week, but you can just tell he doesn't have the same impact as Partey. Now, another question is, the club seem like they don't want to re-sign him or extend his deal. This guy at least needs to be on the bench next season to teach whoever it is that is starting ahead of him how to play that role. You've brought in several players, Moreno, Jorginho, Declan Rice, Havertz. All of those players, they play in that centre role. Some of them obviously play 8 and 6. Trossard can be thrown in there. None of them can play Partey's role. Still don't have a replacement for Partey. Hold that form. Now, I really want to talk about the captain, Ødegaard. Amazing guy. He's had his lows at Madrid. He's come through, went to Real Sociedad, and now he had been performing for Arsenal. Maybe not so much last season, but the 2 seasons ago, he had his absolute best season. I think I got some of the stats here. Premier League in his first season, 37 games, 15 goals, 7 assists. That is good. For your first season of challenging, that's not bad. Now, I'd like to give him the benefit of the doubt and say I still think he's carrying that ankle injury from, is it November? But one thing, you know, people say, oh, you know, his work rate, respect. Huge work rate. Amazing. But some of the passes I saw him doing, I mean, it wasn't just me. A lot of the fans I saw, they were seeing the same thing. So now, as the manager, do you make that hard decision to take off your captain? Arteta in that moment didn't decide to do that. He then decided to play him for 90 minutes and bring on Ethan Nwaneri for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, whatever it was. And in that 3 minutes, Ethan made a huge impact. More versatile, already trying to make things happen in 3 minutes. What do you expect him to do? And he'll go home today. He'll go home yesterday thinking to himself, what was that about? Am I ever going to get a run in the game? How bad does Ødegaard have to be for me to get a run in the team? Credit is the most important game. Arsenal weren't getting through in the first 10 to 20 minutes of the second half. You need to change things up. Things weren't happening. It's almost like Arsenal ran out of ideas. Now that comes on to the manager now. Super Mikel Arteta. That's what we like to call him. Amazing manager. Still growing in his career. Still trying to achieve the end. Has got an FA Cup behind his neck. Not he being his team, but got an FA Cup. And this is a shame. I didn't want to come on camera and my first video about football was me talking about Arsenal. But it seems to me in these competitions, when the pressure's on, Arsenal can't deliver. I just want to read out another stat here I've got here. Arsenal have played PSG in the last 5 matches, bar this match, by the way, bar this match, Arsenal have played PSG and haven't lost a game until yesterday. Yesterday, Arsenal decided to put on, I don't even think I've seen Arsenal perform like that all season. Looked clueless. Looked clueless. Almost some of the performances we witnessed when we were getting to the run-in last season and the season before. Some of those abysmal performances where players need to step up. Look, people want to compare Yamal and Saka. And look, Yamal's flying. He's doing his thing at Barcelona. Amazing talent. And that's not discrediting Saka. Saka is amazing. He was out of the game yesterday. He didn't get a look in. Didn't get a sniff. Mendes didn't let him breathe. The wingers were playing pretty well. You know, Hakimi on one side and Mendes on the other. It is always going to be hard to play. We're at the pinnacle of this competition where nothing's going to be easy. Now, what I'd like to see from someone that's trying to answer questions about are you world class is I would like to see someone take the game by the scruff of his neck. A bit like what Declan Rice did in the Real Madrid first leg of the quarterfinals. Declan Rice tried to influence the game, but what I found out in the game, he was playing 2 positions. Moreno wasn't mobile enough to be in that middle. And if I'm the coach or I'm Arteta, I'm looking at that and saying Trossard either has to drop in or something has to change because Moreno needs to go up front. And we are going to see in the next round, or the next game, I should say, if Partey is the difference. Is Partey the difference? That's the question. Because if he is, if I'm Partey's agent and Arsenal go through after the semi-finals, after the first leg display, last couple months of his contract, what do you do? I'm saying, give me what I want. Give me what I want or I'm going. Simple. Because there's been no loyalty towards Partey, the only consistent player in the middle of the park doing his job or making a difference. Declan Rice, yes, he's made a difference, but Partey has been outstanding this season. People say he's playing for his contract. If he's played for his contract, he's done a damn good job at doing it. Amazing. But a lot of this and a lot of this frustration as an Arsenal fan, again, is because, you know, we hold a lot of stick online. We hold a lot of stick. And Ødegaard as the captain has to take some responsibility. You know, look, I don't know whether certain players in the team, and that goes for Trossard and Martinelli, are feeling super comfortable. Both of those guys had one-on-one, had serious chances. Wasn't good enough. Donnarumma, amazing keeper. But in any round, in any team at the moment, you aren't going to get a keeper that isn't world-class or isn't good. That's where we're at. We're in the semi-finals. So Martinelli, through on goal, that's where you make your money. Trossard, that's where you make your money. These are constant themes Arsenal can't finish. And look, I don't know what happens next week. It's only the fortunate thing about that game is Arsenal are only 1-0 down, so they can actually make a comeback. From that display, do I see it happening? I don't know. But maybe it's because Arsenal aren't used to that system without Partey being there. Partey made a horrendous mistake. And I think we saw that when Arteta benched him on the weekend for the game. Because he made a horrendous mistake. He benched him. Can't play. We need to see something else because this is the team now I have to play that's going to play PSG. And PSG looked like they were hemispheres ahead. Their movement pattern, their link-up play, they nullified Arsenal. They almost, that's it. They closed out the game. And they were streetwise. A couple of in the last 20 minutes, PSG went on the attack and then they said, no, we're not going to attack. We're just going to pass the ball. We're going to keep the ball. Now we're going to Paris and we're expecting a better result. And that's why I go back to the only person that was actually missing in that team is Partey. Yes, Declan Rice will probably have a better chance of influencing pushing up forward. I agree. So we'll see. I always believe in Arsenal. I do believe if anyone's going to do it, it is this team. This team, more so, I tell everyone this, is designed for a competition. This team isn't currently designed for the league. A lot of our key players have been out for months. People say that's excuses, but if you took key players out of every other team, we'll see where they are in the league. One thing I would like to say about Saka, though, is Saka versus Mendes. I watched Jamal today take on 2 or 3 on that side. And yeah, yes, they're not the same quality, but he tried to take them on. Saka didn't seem confident enough to take on Mendes like he did in the first game that they played in the group stages. Now, I don't know why that is, but you saw Mendes also nullify Salah against Liverpool, and you saw him have a huge impact against Aston Villa. So I'm not just going to say, you know, these players, because these players are extremely amazing. But Mendes has done his job. Let's not forget that and not praise the defense. Miles Lewis-Skelly, amazing. I think I've got more stats for him too. "100% passes complete, 100% tackles won, 16 touches, 3 fouls drawn, 1 chance created." The biggest chance, by the way, of the game. The biggest chance. Look, I don't want to take too long on this, but from what I've seen today, Arsenal need to play like they're not under pressure. Because the worst thing you could do is play like you're under pressure and go out and not even be yourself. Those Arsenal players weren't themselves. You could feel the intensity. And people say, oh, the crowd. Well, the crowd are picking up the body language from the players and how they move it. They seem nervous on the ball. They couldn't shift the ball fast enough when they were getting pressed. Saliba looking a bit shaky at the back. People are acting like they don't want the ball. They're hiding. You can't hide in big games. People are watching. So my thing is, Arsenal need to go out there and be themselves and replicate what they've always done. Free-flowing football, pass out from the back. And you know what? I guarantee you, every Arsenal fan, if Arsenal go out next week, playing the way they normally play, we hold our hands up. We've come across against the PSG that's totally knocked out superb teams. And believe me and you, they'll probably go on and win this tournament if they do knock out Arsenal. But you've got to try. And that's the thing. Some of those players out there yesterday weren't trying. You got to run for every ball. You got to make the pass. You got to be on point. You got to do passes that, you know, in the moment, clutch, Kobe Bryant. These are moments. And this is why you're getting what you're getting paid. For these moments. You're trying to make history. But look, at the end of the day, I'm still backing my team and I believe they can do the job. Partey's back in the side. Hopefully no injuries. And it's the team that lined up against Real Madrid and they go again. Saka's got 90 minutes under his belt now. I'm sure he's fully fit. Yeah. An amazing game today, by the way, from Barcelona and Inter Milan. 3-3. And I'm sure the next fixture is going to be equally as cracking. Inter Milan at home and Barcelona away. Yamal was running the show. Dumfries had an influence in all the goals. It was an amazing game. But yeah, if Arsenal face one of those teams and they come out how they came out today, it's over. It's one round and everyone's... Look, Arsenal have got another chance. They've got another chance. That's the main thing. But remember, in the final, it's just one chance. That's it. So let's fight for this team and let's keep it going. Everyone, let's get behind the Arsenal. Show them support. Peace. I'm out. It's your boy.